The text came through just as I was rinsing my coffee mug. Girls' trip for the weekend. Don't worry, babe. Red heart. Short, simple, the kind of message that didn't invite questions, just assumed answers. But it wasn't the words that made me pause under the running water. It was the timing. 7:12 a.m. Emma never texted that early on a Friday. Normally, she'd be rushing, juggling makeup, clothes, and coffee between her knees while tying her hair in the mirror. This felt too composed. I stared at the phone a moment longer, my thumb hovering over the screen, the quiet morning pressing close around me. Then, without much thought, I typed, "No worries. Tell Brian his wife says hi." I didn't even know why I sent it. Maybe instinct. Maybe gut. Or maybe, if I was honest, I'd been waiting for an excuse to say something like that for months. Seconds later, the typing bubble appeared, then vanished. Reappeared. Gone again. And then, silence. Not just from her, from the entire girls' trip group chat she'd accidentally left open on my laptop the week before. My chest tightened. The air itself felt heavier, as if the walls were holding their breath. Emma and I had been married 8 years. We met in college. She was in marketing, I was studying architecture. She had this energy about her, a brightness that drew everyone in. But she only looked at me. At least, that's what I used to believe. The early years were easy. Movie nights tangled on the couch, road trips with music blasting, arguments that ended in laughter, and soft apologies whispered past midnight. But lately, she'd been distant. Her phone always face down. Working late. Client dinners. Girls' nights. Spa weekends. And every time I asked, she gave me that same tired smile. "You're overthinking again, Mark. I just need a little space." I wanted to believe her. God, I really did. That morning, I called her office. "Emma?" "Oh, she's off today," the receptionist said cheerfully. She mentioned she'd be gone until Monday. My stomach dropped. I walked into the kitchen, opened her laptop, something she hadn't left at home in months, and stared at the blank screen. A faint smudge marked where her fingers used to rest. That tiny trace of her life inside mine hit me with a hollow ache. I needed to know. Not to trap her, but because I couldn't keep pretending not to see what was right in front of me. By 10 a.m., I was parked 2 blocks from our house, waiting. She'd said Sophia was picking her up for the trip. At 10:23, a dark blue SUV pulled into the driveway. Not Sophia. Brian. Confident, casual, the kind of man who never has to try. Her coworker. Married. The one she swore was just a friend. I watched as Emma walked out with her overnight bag. Laughing. Light. Radiant. The way she hadn't looked with me in months. She kissed him on the cheek before slipping into the passenger seat. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. My heart didn't race, it sank. Sank under the weight of years of trust and blind faith. I followed them. I didn't even realize it until the first red light. They drove out of town, laughing, heads close, like teenagers sneaking away. An hour later, they pulled into the Lakeside Inn, the kind of spot couples went to disappear. That's when I stopped. I didn't go after them. Didn't confront her. Because what would I even say? Part of me still hoped I was wrong. That night, the house was painfully quiet. Her laughter replayed in my head. Her toothbrush sat by the sink. Her favorite throw still draped across the couch. Everything looked the same, but none of it felt like ours anymore. At midnight, my phone buzzed. "Miss you already, Red Heart." The nerve of it almost made me laugh. My fingers trembled as I typed. "You and Brian having fun?" No reply. The next morning, still nothing. But when I checked her location on Find My, there was no denying it. She was still at the Lakeside Inn. By Sunday afternoon, I'd stopped shaking. Stopped crying too. What replaced it was something colder. Steadier. When her key turned in the door that evening, I was sitting on the couch waiting. "Hey babe," she called brightly. "You won't believe the weekend we..." She froze when she saw my face. "Mark," her smile faltered. "What's wrong?" "Tell Brian his wife says hi," I said quietly. Her lips parted. Her bag slipped from her shoulder, hitting the floor with a soft thud. "What are you talking about?" I saw you, Emma. In the car. With him. Her knees seemed to give out as she dropped onto the couch. It's not what you think. I laughed. Not bitterly, just broken. It's exactly what I think. Tears came fast, messy. Mark, please. It just happened. We were working late, and it just... Don't. My voice was flat. Don't insult me with that. Her sobs filled the silence. For a moment, I almost reached out. Habit, maybe. 8 years doesn't disappear overnight. But then I remembered her laughter in that car. The way she touched his arm. The way she looked at him. The way she used to look at me. I thought we were okay. I whispered. I thought we were just tired. We were, Mark. I didn't mean for it to go this far. But you went, I said. You chose to go. The silence after that was unbearable. She moved out 2 weeks later. No dramatic fight, no shouting, just a quiet morning of her packing boxes while I pretended to work at the table. Every item she took felt like an erasure, slow and deliberate. When she finally left, the door closed so softly it almost sounded polite. Months went by. People stopped asking about her. The house stayed neat but hollow. Some nights, I'd glance at her side of the bed, half expecting her to still be there, hair spilling across the pillow. Sometimes I'd scroll through our photos, vacations, anniversaries, random smiles. We looked happy. And maybe we were. For a while. But happiness built on lies isn't happiness. It's performance. And I was done performing. One evening, I stopped at a small diner off the highway. The waitress had kind eyes and a tired smile. As she poured my coffee, something clicked, something freeing. I didn't need to forgive Emma. I just needed to stop carrying her choices like they were my fault. When I got home, I opened my phone, found her contact, hovered for a long time, then deleted it. The messages, the photos, the location sharing, all of it. And for the first time in years, the silence that followed didn't feel heavy. It felt clean. A few weeks later, I ran into Brian's wife, Claire, at the grocery store. She looked thinner, worn, but when our eyes met, there was quiet understanding. I guess we both got our answers, she said softly. I nodded. Yeah, we did. We stood there a moment, two people mourning something they thought would last. Then she smiled, small but genuine. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe it wasn't. Because sometimes the hardest truth isn't that someone betrayed you, it's realizing how long you've been betraying yourself by pretending not to see it. And as I walked out into the fading sunlight, for the first time in years, I didn't feel the need to look back.